One value or list. In the previous video, we analyzed a select that takes a single value. Here, according to the conditions D is a single value. The select function returns exactly one value as a result of its work. But there are multiple values in the totem. What does this look like? I'll add a field here, name it a list, and choose a data field type. Save. I take the data type to show you how it works. I will do this using another select function as an example, select list. The select list function does not select a single value, but a list of values. Here we write that we will take field 1 from the current table. No other conditions are needed. When we don't have where for the rows part for a field, this is an instruction to take all values from that table. If the select function would return one value from the selected ones, then the select list function will return this list of all the values we have in field 1. The default sorting is at the control of the database. It has now sorted them in ascending order. But this is not always that way. If you care about the order in this list, you need to set the order parameter. For example, I will set the order by field 1 in reverse order. Descending. Save. That is, we take not one value, but several ones. Let's add conditions here. When field 2 is greater than or equal to 20, write where field 2 is greater than or equal to 20. Despite the fact that we can put the where parameter anywhere in the function, even before the table, the rules of good style require that parameters are filled in the same way as in the autocomplete functions. Okay, let's save it and our list should become smaller and we should have only 20 and 15, these two values in descending order. If we set such a condition that only one value will be chosen, for example if we change here and say that field 2 equals 20, then we save it, then there we get a 15 value. In field 2 the value is 20, and in field 1 the value is 15. But we see that this is still a list. It is a list with one value, and a full comparison of this list and the number 15 will not be true. They are not equal. There are comparisons of individual values with lists, and they work by intersections. We'll talk about that in the comparison section. But they don't do full comparisons because lists and single values are different things. Also, a list can be gotten not only by the select list function or other functions that perform an operation on a list, but you can get list by functions that perform an operations on a single value. That is, the select function in our case. How can this happen? Let's name this field list single. It may be that we select a value, 1, but from a field that contains multiple value. That is, we have a list single, and now we modify the code in it to take the value from the list field. Here we have drop-down lists with multiple values. Here I have a choice of A, B, C. And notice that inside it's very similar to how it's displayed here. So inside these are lists, here A, B, C, here A, B, and here list with one value just like here list with one value. We go here, we say we want to take a list. And this is not a select list, it's a separate select. Let's try what we've got. Here we take where field 2 equals 20 and we have here A and B, and here we'll have A and B as a list too. Even though we are performing a select function that returns a single value, this value is a list. Close. So what happens if you take a list and from field cells that are themselves lists? There will be a list of lists. Let's do this operation. List lists. And here is the new name and sort 70. Okay, let's modify it. Here code, we're going to take the list. Here we take the list and let's take from all of its values. Save. And here we see a structure. First of all, it's a list. Here are our rows. 1, 3, 4. Here they are. We have reverse sorting by field 1. So first key is 0, and the lists are numbered from 0. We have an empty field 1. In the second we will have a B. In the third A. And in the fourth we will have A, B, C. And once again, I draw your attention to the fact that this is not just a list, but a list of lists. If we want to turn it into a plain list, there is a special function for that, called listTrain. Let's modify our code. Here we take a listTrain and pass this list into the list parameter. Let's see what we got. Previously it was a list of lists, but now it is a list of the values we had in this list. There is no empty value. Next, A, B, A, B, C. Now what if we have a list and we want to take some value from it? 1, and then operate with, for example, the first or with the second value. This is how we do it. I will call it value from list. Let's leave it as a string and write the code right away. We had a lists field. Here it is. And in order to get a single value from it, we put square brackets and the number of this value in the list. The first one is 0. Let's save it, and here it is, the first value from this list. So if we want the second value, we have to put 1. Save it. We get the B right here. Inside square brackets you can use a reference to other fields or, for example, to another code line. For example, let's use num. Here we write num. This means that when it takes this value, it will address to the list item which number is determined by the num code line. This one. Save. We get A. What if we are left a list of lists, such as this one from here? Let's exclude the listTrain. We get a list of lists. And it doesn't work here, because there is a list of lists. And the field of type string handles single values. We have nothing displayed here because it gets a list and the string can't display a list. For example, from row 1 we want to take the first value 0. How do we do this nested element? We do it in the following way. We don't need this one. Let's delete it. Here we say that we first take from row 1, and then we take the first value from the array that already lies in row 1. Let's see. Here we have the value. All of this may seem a little complicated, but it's actually quite simple. All it takes is a little practice. What do I expect you to do? Practice, and on to the next video.